Adam Pearce just fired Gunther. Let that sink in. The ring general, the man who held the Intercontinental Championship longer than anyone in WWE history, the man who has been absolutely unstoppable on Monday Night Raw, has just been handed his walking papers. Gone. Done. Dismissed. And the WWE Universe? They are losing their minds right now. Because here's what nobody is saying out loud: this wasn't justice. This was a witch hunt. And if you think Adam Pearce made the right call tonight, you need to stay until the very end of this video, because by the time I'm done, your entire opinion on this situation is going to flip completely upside down. Segment 1: What happened on Raw? Let's set the scene. Monday Night Raw. The crowd is electric. Seth Rollins, the visionary, the man who has been on a tear lately, is standing in the middle of that ring, mic in hand, doing what Seth does best: talking, running his mouth, poking the bear. And then the bear answered. Gunther's music hits. That orchestral, dominant, earth-shaking theme rolls through the arena, and every single person in that building knows something violent is about to go down. Because when Gunther walks out with that look in his eyes, that cold, calculated, predatory look, it is not a conversation he's coming for. It is a receipt. What followed next was one of the most brutal, most vicious, most physically dominant displays we have seen on Monday Night Raw in years. Gunther didn't just attack Seth Rollins. He dismantled him. He took Seth apart limb by limb with the kind of precision and ferocity that only the ring general is capable of delivering. The chop heard around the world. That thunderous, chest-caving, skin-splitting chop that echoes through arenas and makes grown men wince just watching from their couches. Seth Rollins ate not one, not two, but multiple of those tonight. The crowd was gasping. The commentators were losing their composure. And Seth Rollins? Seth was crumpled on that mat like a used-up piece of paper. Gunther then locked in the sleeper hold, that vice grip submission that has put countless opponents to sleep, and he did not let go when the referee asked him to. He did not let go when officials ran down to ringside. He held that sleeper until Seth Rollins went completely limp. Until the arm dropped 3 times. Until the medical team had to physically pry Gunther's arm away. And even then Gunther stood over Seth Rollins, staring down at him with zero remorse. Zero emotion. Like he had simply taken out the trash. It was terrifying. It was awe-inspiring. It was everything that makes Gunther the most legitimate, most credible, most dangerous performer in professional wrestling today. And then Adam Pearce walked out. Segment 2: The firing. Now let me paint this picture for you, because the optics here matter enormously. Adam Pearce, WWE's on-screen authority figure on Raw, stormed down that ramp with a face like thunder. You could see it. The veins in his neck. The tension in his jaw. He was furious. And he marched into that ring, got right in Gunther's face, which, by the way, takes a certain kind of courage or a certain kind of stupidity depending on how you look at it, and he told Gunther, point blank, "You're done. You're fired." The crowd erupted. Half of them cheering. Half of them absolutely stunned into silence. And Gunther? He barely blinked. He looked at Pearce the way a lion looks at a house cat, with total, unbothered contempt, and he walked out of that arena with his head held high. No security escort. No drama. No tears. He just walked out like a man who knows exactly who he is and what he's capable of. Now here's where I need you to really pay attention, because the WWE Universe and the internet wrestling community are completely divided on this moment. And I think both sides are missing the bigger picture. Segment 3: Was Pearce right or wrong? Let me give you both sides of this argument, and then I'm going to tell you exactly where I stand. Side 1: Adam Pearce was absolutely justified. Look, Seth Rollins was not in a match. This was not a contracted bout. Gunther didn't just cross a line inside a ring during competition, he crossed into what could be considered a genuine assault. Seth Rollins was defenseless. The attack was unprovoked in the context of the evening. Officials had to physically intervene. Medical personnel had to be called. If Adam Pearce lets that slide without consequences, what message does that send to every other superstar in that locker room? That you can just walk out and destroy your colleagues whenever you feel like it with zero repercussions? Pearce had no choice. His hands were tied. Side 2: This was the most short-sighted, knee-jerk, politically motivated decision in Raw history. And this is where I stand. Because let's be honest with ourselves here. Seth Rollins has been running his mouth for weeks. He has been deliberately provoking Gunther. He has been going out of his way to get under Gunther's skin, to disrespect him publicly, to undermine him on the biggest stage in WWE. And what did everyone think was going to happen? You back a wolf into a corner long enough, you're going to get bitten. Hard. And here's the other thing: where was Adam Pearce's authority when Seth Rollins was out here antagonizing one of the most decorated and dangerous superstars in WWE history? Where were the warnings then? Where were the consequences for Seth's provocations? There were none. Because Seth is the fan favorite. Seth is the merchandise mover. Seth is the guy they want in the main event. And Gunther, despite being objectively the most dominant performer on the brand, gets treated like a problem to be managed rather than an asset to be celebrated. This firing isn't about justice, it's about politics. Plain and simple. Segment for the Gunther legacy conversation. Now let me take a moment and put Gunther's career in proper context, because I think sometimes we forget just how historic this man's run in WWE has been. Gunther held the Intercontinental Championship for over 660 days. 660 days. That is not a stat. That is a monument. In an era where title reigns are measured in weeks and months, Gunther held one of the most prestigious championships in WWE history for nearly 2 years. He defended it against everyone they threw at him. He made that title feel important again. He made that title feel dangerous again. And then he transitioned to Raw and continued to assert himself as a top-tier threat at the main event level. Every single match Gunther has, regardless of the stipulation, regardless of the stakes, he delivers. He does not have bad matches. He is physically imposing, technically brilliant, psychologically ruthless, and charismatically terrifying in a way that very few wrestlers in the modern era can claim. To fire this man, this generational talent, over one incident that, quite frankly, Seth Rollins partially brought on himself is an absolute organizational failure. And don't even get me started on the timing of this. Because if you think this firing is going to stick, if you genuinely believe that WWE is done with Gunther, I have a bridge to sell you. Segment 5. Where does this go from here? This is the part of the video where I want you to drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is a genuine conversation that needs to be had. Option 1. Gunther gets reinstated within the next few weeks. Pearce is overruled by Triple H or some other authority figure. Gunther comes back with a grudge and a target, and Seth Rollins is at the top of that list. This leads to a PPV blow-off match that could legitimately main event WrestleMania. Option 2. Gunther goes rogue. He shows up on Raw uninvited. He wreaks havoc. He makes Pearce's life a living nightmare until the authority is forced to give him his job back just to restore order. This version of Gunther, the fired, unhinged, has nothing to lose version, is honestly the most dangerous version of Gunther we've ever seen, and I am here for it. Option 3, and this is the wild card. Gunther shows up on SmackDown, takes his talents to the blue brand, creates an entirely new war on a different show, forces WWE management to confront the fact that they created this problem by firing him in the first place. Any of these scenarios plays out, and the wrestling world is better for it. But here's my honest prediction. Gunther is back on Raw within 3 weeks. The angle is not done. This firing is a storyline device designed to make Gunther's return even more explosive, even more electric, even more anticipated. And when he comes back, and he will come back, Seth Rollins is going to wish Adam Pearce had just let it go. Closing call to action. So here's where I leave you tonight, Ring Rumble 1 family. Adam Pearce fired Gunther. The internet is divided. The locker room is talking. And Seth Rollins, whether he's injured or not, is going to have to answer for what he started. This is far from over. I want to know what you think. Was Pearce right to fire Gunther, or was this the worst executive decision in Raw history? Drop it in the comments right now. Let's get this debate going, because I read every single one of your comments and your opinions on this channel matter. If you're new here and this is the kind of real, unfiltered, passionate WWE coverage you've been looking for, hit that subscribe button. We don't do fluff here. We don't do clickbait. We give you the real conversation that the bigger channels are too scared to have. And if you felt something watching tonight's Raw, if that Gunther attack made your jaw drop, if that firing made your blood boil, then share this video. Put it in your group chats. Post it on your socials. Let's get the wrestling world talking about what happened tonight, because this moment deserves to be discussed at the highest level. Ring Rumble 1. We don't just watch wrestling. The script is structured with clear segment breaks so you can add B-roll, reaction clips, and highlight footage from the Raw segment at each transition point. Let me know if you want any section punched up, toned down, or expanded.